My name is Neil Hamburger. Yeah. Before we get started here tonight, I have a rather serious admission to make. I've been diagnosed with a terminal case of funny-itis. So you'll all be coming down the plaster. So enjoy the show. At what point during a Julio Iglesias concert do most people throw up? When he comes on stage. Why did Madonna feed her infant baby Alpo brand dog food? Well, she had no choice. That's just what came out of her breasts. Who are the ghoulish, archaic horror characters found on the back cover of Iron Maiden albums? The band. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Which one of you sold the bad drugs that killed the lead singer of Blind Melon? Why did Eric Clapton, legendary guitarist Eric Clapton, switch from PC to Mac? Well, because he had a horrible experience with Windows. What is the worst thing? The worst thing about being sexually assaulted by a member of Foghat? Well, it's probably not even an original member. Yeah. All right, so this is a wild crowd. How many chemists are here tonight? How many folks here work in the field of chemistry? Put your hands up so we can get a count. How many chemists? I can't see your hands. Professional chemists? Chemistry teachers, maybe? One of the local schools. Any chemistry teachers? No? All right. I guess I was given misinformation. This nightclub sent me a card a couple of weeks ago. It said, Neil, when you come to Salem, if you want to win over the crowd, do some chemistry jokes. We have the highest per capita concentration of chemists of any city in North America. So I worked up these chemistry jokes for nothing. Does anybody here know the table of elements? Does anyone at least have that memorized? All right. Well, we can still do a joke or two then. Anybody here take science in high school, junior high? All right, then you guys, this will be easy. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In the world of chemistry, what is the two-letter abbreviation signifying human fecal matter? Jay-Z. Right. Hey, gang. I can call you a gang. What do you call a man? What do you call a man wearing tight purple velvet trousers with a waxed mustache and a monocle and a jester's cap? Jester's cap. Johnny Depp in Tim Burton's remake of Gandhi. And why is Tim Burton's macaroni art so horrible? For all the macaroni art critics, you know, this one's for you. Why is Tim Burton's macaroni art so horrible? Well, because it's glued to Johnny Depp. She liked it. She liked the joke. What was Elvis Presley's worst ever release? The ejaculation containing Lisa Marie. Of all the various historical events that Forrest Gump was directly involved with, which one was he most proud of? 9/11. Folks, this is a fun crowd. This is a fun room. This is a historic room. When you guys were waiting in the long line to get in here earlier tonight, how many of you noticed a plaque on the wall embedded in the brick in this ancient building? How many saw the plaque commemorating this as an Oregon historic site? Did anyone read this plaque before you came in? This is a historic stage, ladies and gentlemen. This is a historic stage in a historic room. Now, this room was originally opened for live performances back in 1922. It had a very different name at that time. It was not the Capital City Theater. In 1922, it was known as the Salem Center for the Performing Arts. At that time, they didn't have a popcorn machine or any of that claptrap. And they didn't have these chairs and tables and people drinking out of plastic cups. It was a very elegant room. And they had red velvet seats permanently fixed to the floor going back as far as the eye could see. And there was an aisle straight down the center, and an usher would escort you to your seat. The room opened in 1922 to live music. At that time, it was strictly classical music performances, concertos, operas, the occasional vaudeville show, some plays, things of that nature. This stage is the original stage, and this stage is historic for many reasons, not the least of which is that in 1939, on this very stage, Bing Crosby, Der Bingle, sang White Christmas for the very first time to a paying crowd. It happened here, ladies and gentlemen. There was a young man who walked into this room earlier, and I said, "Hey, you're the first one here. Glad you want to see my show." He said, "Neil, I don't care about your show. I just wanted to see this historic stage." When he came over to the corner of the stage, and this young man licked his finger, and then he ran it all along the edge of the stage. And when he got to the very end, he licked it again. He wanted to absorb some of these show business memories. Folks, Abbott and Costello performed on this stage in 1947 to a Salem audience ravaged by the horrors of World War II. Abbott and Costello had such a great time they returned 7 years later for 10 sold-out shows on this very stage shows marred by tragedy, because at the conclusion of the last show, the 10th show, Bud Abbott, the great Bud Abbott, dropped dead of a cerebral hemorrhage. There is no cure. This was the site of Alan Costello's final performance. Luciano Pavarotti sang on this stage, asshole, in 1964. 14 sold-out nights. Maria Callas, the voice of an angel, singing the most beautiful melodies known to mankind. It happened here. Probably the most famous thing that ever took place on this stage, gang, took place in 1969, April 7th, 1969. It was the third night of a run of 14 sold-out shows featuring the world's all-time most beloved entertainer, the great French mime, Marcel Marceau. Marcel Marceau performed in this room. And on night 3 of his engagement, he did something that he had never before done during his act and never again did since. He spoke on stage. Yeah, Marcel Marceau spoke on this stage. It was 3.5 hours into his 5.5 hour long set that Marcel Marceau walked up to the edge of the stage and did something that made international headlines. Now, there is a little scratch in this stage commemorating where Marcel stood on that historic occasion. I'm going to straddle this scratch and try to recreate this historic moment. No, close enough. He stood right here. He looked out over this sold-out crowd. And for the first time in his life, Marcel Marceau, the great mime, opened his mouth. The crowd gasped. And then he spoke. This is what he said. He said, I'll be in the room 812 at the hotel across the street if anyone wants to come after the show and shit down my throat. Hey, they can't all be singers. Thanks for the scattered applause. We appreciate that. Thanks also to our wonderful young openers, 2 of the youngest acts working the circuit, Michael and Eric, 2 guys who I'm proud to count as friends. We got a few other gags here lined up for you guys. Why did Phil Spector, legendary record producer Phil Spector, invite up-and-coming actress Lana Clarkson up to his mansion? Well, because he wanted to see her headshot. But times change. Times change. In the year 1995, what would you call 5 fingers grasping a small boy's penis? The Jackson 5! But now, in 2015, what are we referring to when we speak of the Jackson 5? The number of dollars left in Jermaine's bank account. But that's my life. There's a reason that they put 14 individual paper signs on the wall that said, "Do not request the zipperless routine." That's discarded material, young man. That's an oldie but a goodie, but it's something we just don't do anymore, you know. You gotta keep courage, you gotta keep the act fresh, and just do the zipper lips, which incidentally is my most famous routine. To do that in 2015, I think would be a great insult to the paying customers who want fresh material, like some of my Michael Dukakis jokes. We can't do the zipper lips. I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't disappoint you. You're going to ask for a refund now? Well, you're not going to answer me, are you? Looks like we've got a zipper It's a zipper lips. Yeah! Well, Mr. Zipper Lips, how about I use some rusty nail clips to snip off your fingertips? You lousy, stinking zipper lips. Zipper lips. It's a great routine. It's a great routine. Oh, God. What else we got here? On an all-star comedy tour. We got some comedy fans here, right? Yeah. On an all-star comedy tour starring Dane Cook, Carrot Top, Aziz Ansari, and Gallagher, who would deserve the longest standing ovation? No, the pilot that flew the tour plane into the side of a mountain. Why did Leonard Skinner absolutely refuse to perform at a KKK rally? Well, because the Aryan nations offered them twice as much money. Why don't the Eagles masturbate together anymore? Well, because the public is more into electronic dance music. Why doesn't Liza Minnelli put her empty vodka bottles into the recycling bin? Well, she's passed out, face down on the floor. It's not a priority. Why did Gene Simmons, legendary, kiss guitarist Gene Simmons add a sombrero to his on-stage costume? Complete desperation. And why did Gene Simmons, legendary Kiss guitarist Gene Simmons, have original Kiss drummer Peter Criss's anus sewn shut? To prevent him from producing any unauthorized Kiss merchandise. What did the buxom groupie whisper? Or what did Gene Simmons whisper? Oh, Christ. What did Gene Simmons whisper into the buxom groupie's ear? Well, they were making love. They caused her to jump out of bed and run to the nearest phone to dial 911 for help. Let's listen to my solo album. What do you call the twisted old piece of plastic that Gene Simmons uses to pick up Marilyn Manson's shit? in his backyard at the conclusion of one of these shock rock get-togethers. Alice Cooper. What do you call it when a sexual deviant is robbed at knife point in a public park by a homeless wino? A wham reunion. Why did the sexual deviant love hummus so much? Well, because the chick peas. But this is your fun crowd. Hey, how many folks here speak a second language other than English? We're doing another one of our little informal crowd surveys here tonight. Anyone speak a secondary language? Put your hand up if you do to identify yourself. We're not going to dump hot lead in your lap. It's not hate comedy. We're just trying to look for folks here who do speak other languages so that we might include you in a friendly joke. Anybody speak secondary language? I saw a finger go up. No, nobody. No scientists, no translators. Nothing. All right. Well, the reason I was asking, we had put together a sort of a gimmick to set myself apart from some of these garbage comedians who were working the circuit. We put together a little gimmick which actually made the news, and it took me a long time to develop this gimmick. But essentially, friends, I came up with one joke in every language spoken on Earth. That's actually 2,410 languages altogether. And we had 2,410 jokes to go for each and every one of them, including Native American tribal dialects. Finnish, we had it. There was a young lady 2 nights ago. We did a show 2 nights ago up in Kent, Washington. And I asked the crowd if anybody spoke a secondary language. One lady raised her hand. She said, "Nino, Nino. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, and I speak Lingala. Please, if you have a joke in Lingala, tell it to me now." I told her the joke in Lingala. She came up to me afterwards and she said, "Your Lingala was perfect. Every single syllable was pronounced as it should be. The joke itself was garbage. But I salute you for getting it right." It was a great moment. Unfortunately, we won't have such a moment tonight. No one here speaks Lingala or even Swahili, the other dialect in her region. And normally in this situation, what we do is we look at the news and what's been going on in the news lately. Of course, we have that horror in Paris, France recently with the ISIS sickies, that whole sick scene, that crowd of assholes blowing up the comic book shop or whatever it was. And so we would like to tip our hat to our friends in Paris and tip our beret, rather, to our good friends in Paris and dedicate this joke to the Charlie Hebdo gang. And I guess no one will understand it since none of us speak French, but we'll do it anyway. Go something like this. What? What? What is the French phrase? The French phrase meaning a place where garbage was dumped. Jim Morrison's grave. And why was Jim Morrison buried in a coffin that was 10 feet long? to accommodate his dunce cap. And why did Jim Morrison, pea-brained, no-talent, venereal disease-ridden hell singer Morrison, why did Jim Morrison die in a bathtub? Well, he overexerted himself trying to clean the grime off of his balls. Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah. I should have waited another 50 years. I'll make a note of that. Thanks for your input. No, it's nice when the audience has input into your act as you're doing it, just as I'd like to get your input right now on this. Shall we form an impromptu lynch mob and drag this blabbermouth out into the street and beat him to death for talking during my show? Certainly, I need your input. Garbage man! Garbage man! Asshole! Asshole garbage man! This guy's a garbage man. I don't mean the kind of garbage man that we all admire. The kind that removes the garbage from our garbage cans every Friday morning. I'm talking about the kind of garbage man who is literally that, literally garbage. He's a man who is garbage. What's wrong with you? Too soon? How soon is too soon for his life to be terminated? Huh? 1 minute? 2 minutes? Too soon? Shut the hell up! I'm trying to make people laugh and bring some joy into the truth. I'm plucking these jokes out of my heart and thrusting them into your full face. You should just sit there with a smile pasted on it, laughing and laughing and laughing, never with any commentary. Thank you. And shall we rank it? Okay. Moving right on, we do have some other gags. What is the worst thing? The worst thing about buying used toilets on Craigslist? Having to go over to Rob Schneider's house. What do you call the creatures? The creatures who were found growing in the pile of old potato chip wrappers and discarded G-strings behind Britney Spears' house. Her children. Why did Whitney Spears toss a dozen buffalo chicken wings into the toilet bowl? Well, because she mistook it for her own open mouth. What is the most disgusting thing about eating sushi off of Britney Spears' chest? Well, the sushi probably came from Panda Express. Why don't rapists eat at TGI Fridays? It's hard to go out and rape when you have a stomach ache. On his deathbed, as he lay dying, why did Colonel Sanders reveal the secret of his 11 herbs and spices to Academy Award-nominated actress Sally Field? Well, because he was desperate for a hand job. What is the only time you should take your grandparents to Carl's Jr.? When Carl's Jr. is paying $1 a pound for scrap meat. What does a futon, a convertible couch futon, purchased earlier this afternoon at IKEA, have in common with convicted mass murderer Charles Manson? 18 months from today, both will be at the bottom of the nearest landfill. What, the people are Manson freaks? Defending Manson? Defending Charles Manson? You guys didn't tell me that. The caliber of person. There's nothing wrong with the joke. There's something wrong with him. Eh? Killing people in cold blood. You should be ashamed of yourself. We got some other gags here. God. Folks, after the show, we have a little souvenir stand, an ad hoc souvenir stand, in which we sell souvenirs, mementos, and keepsakes of the evening. We've got DVDs, and we've got compact discs, we've got souvenir phonograph recordings and cassette tapes. Do stop by, browse through our merchandise, and then walk away. And reject it all of it. What? What's the difference between Courtney Love and the American flag? Well, it would be wrong to urinate on the American flag. What's the only thing worse? The only thing worse than Fred Durst's herpes. Fred Durst's music. We got a couple more damage. We got a lot more damage, actually. Unfortunately. What is the preferred maternity hospital of meth addicts? Econo Lodge. What do you call the grayish slime that is often found in the bathtubs at the Days Inn? The Marshall Tucker Band. What did disgraced rapper Tupac Shakur have in common with blockbuster motion picture Ocean's 13? Both of them were shot in Vegas. Yeah. Why did Chris Angel, legendary Vegas magician Chris Angel, why did Chris Angel absolutely insist, that all the bananas used as acts during his magic show had to be 100% certified organic? Well, because he doesn't want pesticides in his ass. And why did Carrot Top, legendary Vegas prop comedian Carrot Top, why did Carrot Top absolutely refuse the pleading requests from the topless Playboy playmate who was naked in the jacuzzi with him? Well, because she was begging him to shoot himself in the head. How did Penn make Teller disappear? He flushed the toilet. Yeah. That was in the news. How do you stop Carlos Santana from molesting your children? You put a guitar in his hands. Why was Fever Pitch such a horrible movie? Well, because the casting director took the names and photographs of 100 actresses, threw them into a hat, and then Drew Barrymore. Which illegal substance, anyone? Which illegal substance is most frequently slipped backstage to Cheech and Chong by audience members who have just seen their current show? Cyanide. Why was J.R.R.R.R.R. Tolkien so eager to get to the methadone clinic? Well, because he wanted to get rid of his hobbit.
Ben and Jerry.
Ben and Jerry? What is a popular ice cream brand? Ben and Jerry. There you go. There's your joke, huh? What do J.R. Tolkien's readers have in common with Al-Qaeda? No, neither group was able to get all the way through the two towers. What disease did Ben and Jerry give to all the prostitutes in their hometown of Waterbury, Vermont? Diabetes. Woo! And why did your local fire department? Your local fire department. Where are you from, young man? Estacada. How's that spelled? Yeah, no, he's from Estacada. That's how you spell it. Why did your local fire department Estacada? Why did the Estacada Fire Department, I had this joke lined up. Why did they fill one of the water tanks on one of their fire trucks with human shit and piss and spray it all over a fire? Well, because it was the arcade fire. They never played it. Well, the church doesn't make sense. They would never play that town. It's too small. I'm so sorry about that one. That was poor quality. What does U2's music have in common with the Somalian refugees?
Yeah.
It's poor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we'll do an encore. We'll do an encore. Some people coming from as far away as this to see what we had on offer tonight. We appreciate that. How far away is that? An hour. Wow. What's the population there? 2,985. That's pretty substantial. Anybody else here from there? Anyone ever hear of this? Okay. You guys carpool or just... All right. Could I do a show there? Should we try to get booked there? So you don't have to make this trip? How many folks would come out? 2,000. Okay, I like it. At $2 each. A $6,000 a night. Keep the 100% of the door. Right. Knock, knock!
Who's there?
Mike. My God, Whitney Houston died last year. Knock, knock. Tom. tomorrow, I'm going to go out and buy her greatest hits CD. Knock, knock. Dave. Dave, really gotta figure out a way to stop great artists like Whitney Houston from leaving us prematurely before they have really had a chance to fulfill the initial promise of their talent. Knock, knock. Corey. Coroner says she may have taken drugs. Knock, knock. Boo. Well, don't cry. We still have her music. We still have her memories. We still have her movies. Movies like My Bodyguard and the rest. Knock, knock. Anus. A nostalgic feeling for Whitney's music is natural considering the trauma we have all been through, having her leave us prematurely. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Will.
Will who?
We'll never know, will we? Why someone with the talent of a Whitney Houston would choose to throw it all away and get tangled up in the world of dangerous pills. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ivan.
Ivan who?
I want to know if Dr. Conrad Murray was somehow involved with this mess. Knock, knock. Oprah? Oh, probably. Probably there's some folks sitting in their chairs right now seething with anger and rage, sitting there stewing in their own sour juices, muttering to themselves, Neil, what are you doing? You're ruining my big comedy night out. Why are you turning it into an unofficial wake for Whitney Houston? What is this, Neil? Folks, I'll address your concern real briefly. Yeah, we are turning it into an unofficial wake. That's what us entertainers do. Showbiz people are good people. We look out after each other. When one of us falls, we devote a chunk of our set, sometimes as long as an hour or 2 hours, to two of these great entertainers who have left us prematurely. That's what we're doing here tonight. That's what we'll be doing every night. If you don't like it, then you have no loyalty to the people that you work for, because that's what it's all about, folks. Whitney and I never worked together. We never knew each other. It doesn't matter. We're the same sort of folk. Show folk. Show folk, and we stick together through thick and thin. I'll tell you something. You're not a person if you can't stick by your coworker in their time of need. And what greater time of need is there than when you're rotting in a coffin in New Jersey? That's why we pay tribute to Whitney Houston, assholes! Knock, knock!
Who's there?
Wilbur.
Wilbur
We'll bury her body, but we'll never forget her spirit till we please have a rousing round of applause for Whitney Houston. Knock, knock. Medford, where we performed 3 nights ago. When we did this Whitney Houston tribute, they applauded 5 times as loud as you, even though there were only 5 people in the audience. Real. Salem round of applause for Whitney Houston. Make it loud enough that she can hear us. Knock, knock. Is Dr. Scholl in the audience tonight? Are you Dr. Scholl? Is Dr. Scholl here, the famous, world-famous podiatrist who created a line of foot products for funguses, for corns, bunions, insoles for your shoes, gels, creams, to cure these things. Is Dr. Soul here with his yellow and blue packaging? Is Dr. Soul? He's not here? Folks, if Dr. Soul is not here, if Dr. Soul himself is not here crawling around on his hands and knees, inspecting all of your feet personally, and diagnosing you with gland hair warts, if Dr. Soul is not here doing that, then you have no excuse in the world not to be standing on your feet with a standing ovation for Whitney Houston. Come on, people! Whitney Houston! Whitney Houston! Stay up!
Who's there?
Blood! God bless Whitney Houston. God bless Robin Williams. God bless Salem. God bless Silk and Silver. God bless John Wayne. God bless America. And God bless all of you. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you, Neil.
Have you already seen him before?
Yes, are you kidding? Okay, we only got 46